So we're going to begin either on the steps of a pool, if you've got some steps where you can get into a comfortable seated position, or if not, you can just simply find yourself reclining against the edge of the pool, sinking your body's weight into the edge, and starting to take some deep inhales and exhales through the nose. It's up to you if you'd like to start with your eyes open or your eyes shut. If you happen to be in a pool where you've got a little bit of nature surrounding you and some elements of physical beauty to enjoy, feel free to maybe keep your eyes open. Otherwise, closing your eyes down, you might prefer to focus on the sounds you hear around you, maybe the sun on your skin, maybe a cool breeze if you're in an outdoor pool. And just starting to come into a deep sense of awareness about the physical sensations around you and within you. So focusing on this present moment through the vehicle of your senses. Coming perhaps into your ujjayi breath, deeply breathing in through the nose, allowing that air to circulate in the back of your throat, just like an ocean wave, and then exiting back out through the nostrils. So it sounds a little bit like this. So feeling that oceanic quality of the breath within as you feel the oceanic quality of the water without. Good. Feeling that breath circulate through the body, freshening any areas of stagnation. And as you start to notice your body in the water, those parts of the body that are submerged underneath, feeling how the water offsets most of your body's weight, I want you to imagine that this practice, this yoga practice, is always available to you to offset the weight of your problems. So in yoga, we don't seek to deny our problems or ignore them, but to simply have a means by which the weight of the world feels a little bit more supported. So we allow this practice to help carry the burdens of what we bring into it with us. Allowing those eyes to open, we're going to come to stand in the center of the pool. So you're standing until the water is about chest height, moving into our Tadasana mountain pose. So feet are hip-width distance apart, down underneath in the water. You're going to grip the ground with your feet. So you feel the four corners of your feet rooting down into the earth. The arch lifts up slightly away from the bottom of the pool. And from that foundation of the feet, we feel our thighs drawing energetically apart from each other. Belly is hugging in towards spine. Our palms are faced forward underneath the water, and the arms kind of shoot out towards almost like the base of a mountain shape. So they're kind of forming that triangle shape as we resemble the pose of a mountain, a Tadasana pose. From here, we reconnect with that ujjayi breath, breathing in and out through the nose. And taking a moment to consider this yogic concept of rooting down to rise up. Now, in all of yoga, this is a required kind of physical cue we think about, because the more firmly we make contact with the foundation of our feet to the ground, and then the more that we engage the muscles that are supposed to stay stable through any particular pose, so the thighs drawing apart, belly pulling in, the more range of motion we'll be able to have because we have gravity helping us tether down into the ground. Now, in water yoga, that becomes an even more important physical cue because you no longer have as much assistance from gravity keeping you tethered down towards the ground. So you have to work a little bit more of that muscular exertion and control in order to stay balanced and upright. Now, taking that analogy one step further, are there any areas of your life where you could imagine rooting down a little bit more deeply, connecting more so with your foundation of the core of who you are, so that you feel a little bit more safety and freedom to fully express yourself, knowing that your basic core foundations are really strong. And here we'll start to add in some movement. So finding an inhale, arms sweep up towards the sky, drop the shoulders down away from the ears, and exhale, hands come together in front of heart. Good. Inhale, reaching fingertips up towards the sky, and then turning those palms away from you on the exhale as you slide the hands through the water, imagining as they move through the water that water is heavier than it is. Good. Inhale, we'll do that again, sweeping arms up. This time maybe taking your gaze, or in yoga we call that your drishti, up to the sky, unless that sky is bright and you're not wearing sunglasses, that's okay too. And we'll take hands to heart center, reaching back up on the inhale, and then exhale, gliding those hands back down towards the hips. Finding one more version of this breath. Hands come to heart center. And then this time when we reach up for the sky, we're going to leave those fingertips there. We'll spiral the pinkies in towards each other to open into the chest, and then sink the hips down into your imaginary chair. So we're in our chair, our Utkatasana pose. We can glance down and see the toes wiggling in the water underneath us. And you'll notice this feels a lot more accessible than if we were to do this on dry land. So we kind of enjoy that. And because this feels pretty comfy to stay in, we're going to use this as our cat-cow position. So taking the hands down towards the water in front of us, we're going to graze the surface of the water with the backs of our arms as we take the chest forward and up, and then send the tailbone behind you towards the wall behind you. So you're arching in the back, and then as you exhale, you'll curl that tailbone under, rounding through the spine, rounding into those arms like you're hugging a big beach ball, and take a look between your feet. Good. Every inhale then, we're going to open the chest up, looking up towards the sky, sending the tailbone further behind you towards the wall behind you, and then exhale, rounding. Let's do that one more time. We'll inhale, sweeping arms open. Exhale, rounding, taking a peek between those feet, and then we'll come back up to that Tadasana pose. Good. Now we're going to be moving into our warrior series. We're going to be holding this several breaths per movement, and then eventually transitioning to more of a flow. But we want to take these first several rounds to really connect with the nuances of these shapes as we add the surprise element of water. So from here, let's take the right leg behind us. Front knee is going to bend. The back toes are kind of turning out a little bit at a 45-degree angle, and we're going to lift the arms up for our warrior one position. So palms are facing in. We have super strong arms here, so we're shooting energy out through those fingertips, but we drop the inside of the trapezius muscle, the shoulders, the inside of the shoulders down away from the ears. Good. From here, we think about all of those nuances of rooting down to rise up. So we are rooting down through that front foot. We squeeze the heel of the front foot towards the arch of the back foot, as though you had like a little rug underneath you on the bottom of the pool that you could kind of scrunch up underneath you. So we're just actively drawing those thigh bones towards each other. We're pulling belly in so that the hips are right underneath the ribs, relaxing shoulders down. We're strong with the arms, and we find that Ujjayi breath. So deep inhales through the nose, deep exhales through the nose. Let's take another inhale here, please. And then on your exhale, you're going to take your warrior two arms. So you're going to take right fingertips back, left fingertips forward, please, as you take your warrior two. So we moved into warrior two. You're opening belly and chest towards the wall beside you, but your gaze is going to come back over that front middle finger, your gaze or your drishti. So you steady that gaze. It's going to help with your sense of balance. We're drawing belly in towards spine. Now notice if that front knee started to cave in towards the midline. And if so, you're going to want to send it back open towards that left. Good. One more deep inhale here, please. Perfect. And then on your next exhale, you're going to take your front hand to the front thigh, back palm rotates up. It's going to lift up towards the sky and then continue making that arc until the palm is facing towards the water. So we're in our extended side angle. We're going to spin. So we use the bottom hands now to spin away from that front thigh and lift the heart up towards the sky. So we're lifting over, but also up with that chest. Good. Noticing any sensation going on in that top shoulder, any tightness that you are now finding the freedom to release. Keep finding some deep, steady breaths here, please. Beautiful. One more inhale breath here, please. And then exhale, you're going to press up strong into your warrior two, just as a transition. From here, that back hand is going to travel through the water until it finds the back leg. That front hand lifts up to the sky and then back towards the water behind you for our reverse warrior. So you're really lifting up and away from the pelvic girdle. It's like you could try to get your chest or your heart to touch that blue sky above you and then start to lean back, so that we can really open in the low back, finding extension of the spine. Again, spiraling that heart up towards the sky. Good. Finding two more deep breaths here. And your exhale will return you to a warrior two position. This time the front leg straightens as well. So both legs are straight as you square the hips and shoulders off to the side of the pool beside you. Keep hinging forward from the waist. So you're reaching your fingertips as though you could reach the front edge of the pool. And then when you can't reach any further, you're going to take that bottom hand through the water and find the front thigh. The back hand reaches up and then all the way over for our Trikonasana triangle pose. Good. Drop shoulder blade down away from the ear. This one's really important that we pull belly in towards spine to help us again connect with that sense of stability. And then from this triangle position, we're going to add a little bit of a core challenge here. So keeping the torso where it is, that bottom hand is going to lift away from the front thigh and then just shoot up at that diagonal. So both arms are reaching overhead, palms are facing in towards each other, feeling a little strength in the side of the waist here. Let's find another breath. And then you'll rebend that front knee as you take shoulders over hips, warrior two. Perfect. From here, we're moving into our goddess pose. So you're actually going to be facing now the side of the pool, and you're going to take that back heel, that right heel in a little bit so that the toes are wider than the heels, and the heels are already pretty wide as well. So I want you to take a quick peek down. You're moving the knees away from each other so that you can see the big toes on the inside of the knees. Good. From here, you're going to dip down even further with those knees. You're going to cactus those arms out to the sides of the shoulders, palms face forward. Inhale as you lower into your goddess pose, maybe submerging to about neck level in the water. And then exhale, you're going to straighten the arms and the legs for your 5-point star. So you're reaching out at those opposite diagonals. And let's do that 4 more times. We'll inhale, lowering down towards the earth. Exhale, rising up strong, growing really expansive here. Inhale, bend elbows, bend knees. Exhale, rise up into that 5-point star. Inhale, lowering down. Exhale, stretching out in opposite directions. We'll do 1 more just like that. Inhaling, lowering down. Exhale, rising up. And then from here, we're going to return to that warrior one position. So rebend that left knee, back leg comes straight. We're going to take the right toes in just a little bit. Arms reach up powerfully for that warrior one position. And then come take a giant step forward. We're going to meet in that Utkatasana chair pose. Good. So opening chest as you lift your gaze. Exhale and round. Inhale and open. Exhale and round. Let's do that 1 more time. Find a little bit more openness in our spaciousness in our spine this time. And we'll come all the way up to standing. This time moving in the opposite direction. So warrior one. This time it's the left leg that steps behind you. The front right knee bends. We're going to rotate those shoulders and hips towards the front. So everything is squared off towards the front. shooting energy up through those fingertips. And again, coming into that rooted positioning with the feet. So we're pulling, we're not actually moving, but we're actively engaging so that we feel like that heel is kind of trying to drag through the ground towards that back arch of the back foot. Continuing to breathe, we pull belly in towards spine, send shoulders down along the back. And then we'll open up. So we're going to take the belly and the hips and the shoulders over towards the left side of the pool, but keep your gaze, your drishti, over that front middle finger. Good. Feeling length from fingertip to fingertip, opening up in the chest and neck. Continuing that ujjayi breath in and out through the nose. Finding 2 more breaths just like this. You're doing great. And on your exhale breath, you're going to find your extended side angle. So front hand reaches for front thigh. You're going to reach the arms up, back arm up and over, spiraling that heart up to the sky, finding length all the way in the side of the body. Perfect. And then use a giant strong exhale to lift up into your warrior 2. Just as a transition, that front hand rotates up towards the sky. The back hand reaches for the back leg as you lift up and back for your reverse warrior. Continue to breathe. Make sure you're still keeping a nice deep bend in that front knee. Rooting down to rise up. Finding 1 more in-breath here, please. And then on your exhale, you're going to press up into your warrior 2, straightening into that front leg now, reaching the arms forward, forward, forward for your triangle or trikonasana position. So both legs are straight, you're hinging forward, and then reaching front hand to the inner edge of that front thigh, spiraling away from that thigh so that you can lift that heart. Back hand is reaching up and over down towards the water. You should feel all sorts of things opening up here along the shoulder joint. Continuing to breathe, find length in that side body. And then we're going to go for that core challenge here by taking the bottom arm through the water. So palms are facing in towards each other. You're framing the ears with your biceps. Strong, strong core here, pulling belly in towards spine. And then a big exhale as you rebend that front knee. And then from here, it's going to be a giant step forward with the left foot. So again, finding our cat-cow. So taking the backs of the arms towards the surface of the water in front of you. We're in that chair pose, and knees are bent. We're going to inhale, open the chest up and away. Exhale, round down, looking between the feet. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Taking 2 more just like this, please. Perfect. And then coming all the way up into our Tadasana mountain pose. Good. From here, we're going to be moving into our eagle series. So you may even want to move a little bit closer to the wall here to get some stability support if you'll need them, because the next several poses that we're going to do are going to require a lot of balance. So just in case you need to hold on to the edge of the pool. Otherwise, we're going to sit down into our chair pose. So it's just like you're sitting in a chair, but this time all the weight shifts into the left leg. The right leg we pick up and then just cross it over. So imagine you're sitting in a chair and you've got your right leg crossed over your left. From here, if you want to add on, the toes of the right foot, the leg that's crossed, are going to wrap around the left calf muscle. So just kind of wrapping it all the way around. Good. And then we'll add the arms, unless you need to hold on to the edge of the pool, which you are more than welcome to do. So for the arms, we would take the right arm under left. So elbows are kind of hooking underneath each other. And then if you've got the opening, you'd reach those fingertips of the bottom hand to the palm of that hand that's sitting up a little bit higher. Now, if you don't have the ability to hook them today, no worries. You can just keep the arms crossed. From here, we're going to think about all the nuances of this pose that help us find more stability. So we actively squeeze the legs in towards each other as though we were just trying to just smoosh into one big leg. And then from here, we drop belly in towards spine. The shoulders are right over the hips, so we're super upright here. We squeeze the arms together, shoulders down, but then elbows up, so we can increase the stretch between the backs of the shoulder blades. Perhaps continuing to breathe. Now, you're probably going to wiggle and wobble a little bit here. That's okay, so just have some fun with it. Come back into it if you kind of fall out. So squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then we'll stand up and release, letting all of that go. Good. From here, we're going to come into the other side. So sit down into our chair pose. Left leg crosses over right. Left arm crosses under right. And then maybe we reach for the inside of that palm with the lower set of fingertips. Maybe we don't. We're going to squeeze those legs together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. We're still sinking down in that chair pose. Belly hugs in. Arms squeezed together. Shoulders down. Elbows lift. I know there's so much going on here. This is so, so good for you. It's good for you to challenge your balance. And then let's come all the way up. Perfect. From here, we're moving into our tree pose. So again, you've got options to kind of just turn around and face the edge of your pool or hold onto that pool with one hand for support. We're going to shift the weight over to the left leg. The right knee is going to spin out to the right side, and we're going to pick the right heel up off the ground. So we can start with our baby tree where the right toes are on the ground. And the right heel then is just right above the left ankle. So right heel pressing in the left ankle, toes can be on the ground, right knee spinning out towards the side. This is great. You can stay here. If you want to add the arm balance or arm challenge, you can lift the arms overhead to challenge that balance a little bit more. And this is kind of almost like wide warrior one arms. We have a little softness into the elbows, but the arms are still feeling strong. The wider we take our palms here, the wider we take our arms, the more balance you'll probably feel. It's just like the branches of a tree, kind of reaching out in different directions. And then from here, if you wanted to go a little bit deeper into the balance pose with your legs, the right foot would actually lift up away from the ground, placing the sole of the right foot to the inner edge of that left calf and shin. Now we do want to avoid the knee joint, so the heel goes right below the knee, and then you're actively pressing that foot into your leg and the leg into the foot. Again, option to hold on to the edge of the pool or take the arms out overhead. Now, if you wanted the full variation of the tree pose that if you're used to practicing this on dry land, you'd reach down into the water with your right hand, grab hold of the front of that right ankle, and you just kind of assist that foot up into the inner edge of the left thigh. Now, if you're wearing sunscreen, this can get a little bit more challenging, a little bit more slippery. Just do the best you can. Again, just being mindful to avoid the inner edge of the left knee. We don't want to put any pressure on the kneecap. So if you're taking this variation, let's make sure the toes are above the knee so that right heel is just kind of underneath the groin. Good. So again, the more that we press the foot into the leg and the standing leg into the foot, the more balanced we're going to feel. The belly is super involved with our sense of balance always, but especially here in this pose in the water. So abdominals are hugging in towards the back body. Notice if you're shrugging up with the shoulders, let's send the shoulders down and away, creating that sense of ease, even if this is not easy. When we assume the physicality of ease, when we mimic what the body would do in an easeful situation, we actually begin to become more easeful. Good, and then let's set that down. We'll take it over to the other side. So again, we've got options for a baby tree, shifting the weight into the right leg. Maybe the left heel just connects above the right ankle bone. Toes can remain on the ground. The left knee does spin out to the side no matter what, so it's an external rotation of that left hip. We can take the foot into the inner edge of the calf, or you could pull it all the way up above the knee. Make sure we're avoiding any pressure on the inside of the knee for that full variation of our tree pose. So gripping the ground with the standing foot, pressing leg into foot and foot into leg, belly hugs in, fingers are nice and wide if they're not holding onto the edge of the pool. Maybe reconnecting with that Ujjayi breath. And then let's set that all down with control. Beautiful. From here, we're going to do our standing pose, our standing leg pose with the rotation. So we're going to step away from the edge of the pool. If you're using the edge of the pool, you can kind of face it so that anytime when we have this lifted leg, you can just place the sole of your foot to the inside of the pool's edge. Otherwise, if you don't need the assistance, you can just stand in the center of the pool. You're going to shift the weight again into the left leg. The right knee draws in towards the chest. You're going to flex into the right foot and then send that right leg forward. So it's just trying to get it as high as the hip. The belly's hugging in to help with this. From here, let's take the arms out wide, the thumbs up, pinkies down, so those palms are facing forward. And then we're going to add on. So we're going to add a rotation towards the lifted leg, meaning that if your right leg is lifted, you're going to take the right arm behind you, left arm forward of you. Now you're trying to form one straight line with the arms. You're opening the chest and neck. You keep that right leg shooting forward, foot is flexed. With every inhale, you'll get a little bit taller, yes. And then with every exhale, you're going to pull the belly in a little bit more to find more rotation. This is so good. This is challenging because we just changed the direction of our vision, our gaze. And when we do that, our eyes are very tied in with our sense of balance from a physical standpoint. So kind of shifting that focal point can really mess with your sense of balance. So just know that if that happened for you, that's totally normal. But that's why we practice it. We can improve our sense of balance over time. And I always think that's an important analogy as well. When we shift focus and we take our eyes off the prize, so to speak, that's when our circumstances can kind of tend to get a little shaky or a little wonky. So we try to keep our vision fixed on what it is that is most important to us and what it is that's going to root us down into what we're really working towards. Good. From here, I'm going to see if you can keep that leg lifted as we rotate back towards the center. Lift those arms up, 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 and then let's set everything down. So, so good. Maybe just one breath here with both feet on the ground to kind of reconnect with that sense of stability. And then we'll take it over to the other side. So weight shifts into the right leg. The left knee squeezes in towards the chest. We flex into the left foot and then shoot that leg forward. That foot remains flexed. From here, arms out to the side. We're going to rotate towards that lifted left leg, meaning we take left arm behind us, right arm in front. With every inhale, we lift taller. With every exhale, we squeeze the belly in a little deeper. Maybe you even take your gaze towards that back thumb. Good. Finding your steady breath here. Grace under pressure. 2 more breaths here, please. You're going to lift the arms up to the sky, palms face in as you rotate back towards the center and then set it all down. Fantastic. From here, we've got one more standing balance pose before we come into our final relaxation or shavasana, and that's dancer. So again, you might want to have the edge of a pool nearby just in case you're starting to feel a little bit wobbly on this one. This one you might feel wobbly on dry ground anyway, but under the water, it's oh so much more challenging. So we shift the weight into the left leg. The right heel moves in towards the right seat. And then this is important. I want you to kind of watch this one. We want to reach from the inside of the foot as we grab the foot in our hand, not the outside. So it's kind of the opposite direction or the opposite reach from like a quad stretch that you might do like after running or doing some cardio. Because we have the fingertips rotated towards the outer edge of the foot. The thumb is going to be on the sole of the foot. And then from here, first and foremost, it's a back bend. So we see if we can get that right arm towards straight as we kick the foot into the hand away from the body. So we are creating a beautiful opening of the low back here, extension of the spine. And then from there, if you wanted to add on, maybe releasing fingertips up to the ceiling. If you feel like you need to continue holding onto the edge of the pool, you just go right ahead and take what you need. Otherwise, if you're ready to add on even more so from here, we would start to bow forward. So just leading from the heart, counterbalancing the weight of the foot and the weight of the chest. Your gaze is over your front thumb. Good. You're keeping that thumb about in line with your eyebrow if you do have the arm extended forward. And you can always kind of position this just right in front of the edge of the pool in case you need to just drop the back of your arm towards the edge of the pool for support. Good. Take a couple more breaths here. And then let's see if we can lift up first, still holding onto that back bend, holding onto the foot, and then release it down. So, so good. Let's take it over to the other side now. So again, we reach with fingertips facing towards the outer edge of the foot. We kick back first into the hand. So get that beautiful back bend, trying to straighten into the left arm. That should feel really good, like a little bit of a shoulder release as well for the front of the left shoulder. And then right fingertips lift up if you're taking that addition, and then start to bow forward. So as you bow forward, you still want to maintain the opening from the heel to the back. So we're still long with that left arm. We're extending the spine, which is so important for us to do most of everyday kind of activity or just the habits we get into on a daily basis have us rounding forward in the spine. So we want to move the spine in the opposite direction to help balance it out. Good steady Ujjayi breath, even if this is not easy for you. I'm just having a sense of fun here. Don't let it get frustrating. You're experiencing something new, so it's probably not going to come super easily to you the first time or even the 50th time. These are challenging. Good. And then let's see if we can lift up while we still have that back bend, and then release it down. Perfect. From here, let's just kind of hold onto the edge of the pool, snaking through a few rounds of cat-cow, or you can do it in the center of the pool as well. Very good. And then making our way towards Shavasana. So if you don't mind getting your hair wet, I'm going to recommend that we just say goodbye now and you move into a back float. That can be a really beautiful way to end your practice. However, I know how it is. Not every day is a day that you want to get your hair wet. So if you prefer to stay upright, then you can just move to the edge of the pool. You could even tuck a towel behind your head for support if you want to move it underneath your neck and lift the chin up towards the sky. Just getting as comfortable as possible. And allow those eyes to close. So transitioning away from a sense of focus and effort and concentration into one of reception, of surrender, and of release. So as you feel your limbs soften into the water's movement, imagine your mind softening into space. So feeling the hard edges just kind of disappear. Feeling yourself supported by the water. Opening yourself up to its gentle suggestions of movement. Feeling your body grow weightless. And starting to add a little bit more movement, a little bit of awareness into your physical surroundings, starting to just gently sway the arms through the water back and forth. Keeping your eyes closed, let's pick your head up off the edge of the pool if it was reclined on a towel. Taking hands to heart center. Thank you so much for honoring yourself with this practice, for trying something new, for challenging that sense of balance, and perhaps finding some ways that you can connect even more deeply with the foundation and core of who you are, both on a physical and on a spiritual level. Namaste.